The Phantom Stranger number 8, written by Dan DiDio and JMD Mateus, art by Philip Tan. So, last issue, Phantom Stranger got run through with the Spear of Destiny on the behest of Question. And then he died, maybe, because this issue picks up just at the House of Mystery where Justice League Dark is, and he was apparently just sitting on the doorstep. No idea how he got there, but he is barely clinging to life as is. And Frankenstein hauls him inside and tells Constantine, like, we gotta fix him, man. We gotta try to solve him here. And so they clear off a table, lay him down there. A dead man's like, let me go in and see if I can, like, talk to his soul, get him to not go into light or whatever. And when Dead Man reaches inside, he's like, guys, we got a problem. Yeah, he's got a hole in his chest, but he also doesn't have a soul. Like, it's not there. How are we supposed to fix that? So at that point, we see where is Phantom Stranger's soul, and he's just in this dark room, sitting in a chair, single light on him, and there's another empty chair across from him, and he's like, is this heaven? Is this hell? I mean, it doesn't feel like either, because I've kind of been to both, but like, no, this is something else. This is some other dimension. So let's just see like where this goes. And in walks this guy with a flaming head, horrific looking, love the design of him, and he's like, hey, I've got a question for you, Phantom Stranger. And he's like, I'm so sick of questions. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Who are you? Who exactly are you? And Phantom Stranger's like, I mean, I've lived many lives. There's been known by many different names. I don't know really what you're asking here. And he's like, well, okay, let me ask you this. How many identities have you stolen? How many lovers have you abandoned? How many kids have you fathered and then just left to rot? And Phantom Stranger's like, I think you probably know that already. He's like, you're right, I do. My name is the Sin Eater, and I know exactly how many times you've sinned. But here's the thing: if you come after me, if you attack me while we have our little talk here, you will never see Elena, Allie, or Tim again. And he's like, oh, you're the one who took him. And he's like, no, I didn't. Or sorry, you're the one who took my family. And he's like, no, I didn't take your family. I took Philip Stark's family. And he's like, yeah, that's right. I know. You're not Philip Stark. This identity that you have, you stole it from someone else. You took the identity of Philip Stark and made it your own, but it is not you. And basically Phantom Stranger starts talking back, being like, no, you know, I am Philip Stark now. Like, it's I am him, he is me. It's my identity now. He's like, no. But that family, those kids, they don't belong to you. You killed a man in order to take his life. And as such, you've committed like all these sins of envy and greed and murder and whatnot. And we're going to talk about that. So then cut back to the real world, and Constantine has been trying a bunch of different spells to try to get Stranger's soul back. Nothing's working. And Zatanna puts out like, hey, here's the deal. We're kind of like general specialists when it comes to magic. Maybe we need someone a bit more specific, a bit more in-depth into soul loss. And he's like, oh, crap, I know who you're going to call. Can we not? And she's like, nope, no other chance. So she summons from hell, as far as I can tell, the Nightmare Nurse, who I'm unfamiliar with, but she's like, yep, I'll step in and I'll see what I can do. So we go back to the Sin Eater, and it's like, yeah, no, I've watched you for years. You've always played the part of Philip Stark, but you never quite got it right. You've always just had this hollowness inside of you, because even you know it's not true. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I wasn't Stark. I was better than him. And he's like, better? You think you're better than the man whose life you stole? You think that's you loved his family more deeply than he did? And he's like, yeah, I know I did. And we see what happened the last night. Originally, Phantom was going by the name Joshua. He was meeting up with Philip just because of what we'll get to. And he's saying goodbye to Elena and the kids. And Joshua was led by Philip into this back room because Philip's like a poet or something like that. But apparently in his back room, he's also a serial killer. So Philip was killing a bunch of people, but he's doing it in the terms of like, oh, I'm only taking out the bad people of the world to make it safe for my family in order to do that. And Joshua, you're one of those bad people. And he goes and he stabs the stranger. Of course, it doesn't quite work. And stranger holds him up and says how I am here to witness your sins and then lead you to be caught. That is the whole reason I'm here, because what you were planning on doing tonight was killing your family. And Philip's like, yeah, because this world is too evil for them to exist. They're too good. I love them too much for them to live in this world anymore. And basically he says like, yeah, no, I was supposed to come here and let you kill your family and take you to justice afterwards. But you know what? I've got a different plan now. And we see Elena calling down to Philip, and we see the shadow of the Phantom Stranger, but then he transforms into Philip, and it's just like, yeah, no, it's me, honey. Joshua left. He's not going to be coming back. And it's just me from now on. So at that point, the Sin Eater comes up and just be like, you think that you love the family more than somebody who was willing to kill for them just to keep them alive? And he's just like, what I did without any regret, and I would definitely do it again. Are you kidding me? Philip was absolutely evil. So then we cut back to Justice League Dark and the Nightmare Nurse. Apparently Constantine had a fling with her at some point, and he deeply regrets it, but Nightmare Nurse is like, oh well, you know how it goes. So Nightmare Nurse casts some magical spell, some like causing some surgery to basically rip his soul away from wherever it is and bring it back. But then we go back to Sin Eater and Phantom Stranger, and it's a whole lot of monologuing, but long story short, it's like, what you did was not just murder Philip. You took his consciousness, you ripped it apart, and you threw it into the cosmos. And it ended up in a place called the Land of Non. And as such, it had time to reconform and regrow and build itself fresh. And he became angry and upset, and he transformed into the Sin Eater. And at that point, Phantom Stranger realizes Sin Eater is Philip Stark. He's the guy that he murdered, and that's the reason why Sin Eater took his family, is because it was technically his family to begin with, and he was trying to take them out of this world. So at that point, Phantom Stranger does not keep his chill anymore. He lunges after Sin Eater, and in that moment is when they bring Phantom Stranger's soul back into reality and get him back to life again. And he sits up and he's like, what have you done? I almost had him. He's there and now he's gone and I don't know what to do. And they're like, dude, we just saved your life. Maybe a little bit of appreciativeness. And he's like, okay, yeah, fine, thanks. Anyway, I realize now where my family is and I know who has them. So I am now single-mindedly going to find them and bring them back home. And he opens up his hand, and earlier on I forgot to mention that there was this flower that when he took over Philip's life, he gave his new wife. That same flower is in his hand now. So I'm super interested. I love this concept. I think it's a great idea of this life that he took, because I never even questioned the fact that he must have taken someone else's life at some point. I just assumed that he just made up an entire personality and like just magically created the papers needed to make it a reality. But no, he took someone else's life and just lived their form. I think that that's a solid reveal. I really do enjoy it. So does it really feel like it flows on from the last issue? No, it's kind of its own separate thing, but I enjoyed it for what it was. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a solid 8 out of 10. I really think it's solid. And Philip Tan's art, beautiful. Fantastic. Cannot speak highly of it. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Looking forward to seeing how Sin Eater continues.